Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news. Welcome to Good News with Twanda Black. Hi, I'm Twanda Black. It's such a pleasure to have you here joining us and enjoying the guests that we bring. So hold on, here's good news. Hello everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Twanda Black, and joining me today, Grammy nominated and stellar winning and all these different things, and just a wonderful artist. Brian Courtney Wilson joins us. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
Doing wonderful. You holding it down there in Texas?
One day at a time, yes ma'am. One breath at a time, you know. Yep.
How has it been for you in 2020 with COVID?
All things considered, you know, we've been grateful. You know, it hasn't, we didn't see any huge hits to my family from a health standpoint. I think the hardest part was, when we all watched George Floyd get murdered.
Oh my God.
Just dealing with that.
Yeah.
Especially being here in Houston because he was from the Third Ward. So it really hit us hard here. And I know personally it was just kind of disruptive to my psyche. But, we kept it moving.
Yeah.
And then, you just kind of remember that that's not the first time, and we've survived more. We're going to keep on kicking, and we're going to keep on thriving.
It's true. We got so much work to do in that space of race and justice and those issues and just being human beings,
Absolutely.
We've got so much to do in those areas. But you bring us good music to feel by, to think by, to work by, and all that good stuff. Talk about your career. I remember when you just came on the scene. My God, how many years ago was that?
What is it, close to 15 now? I think about it, yeah. Close to 15. And I remember it like it was yesterday, putting out All I Need and wondering if anybody was going to care about it. Fast forward, that song ended up breaking a record on Billboard.
I'm telling you.
We're working through our fifth solo project now. I found out top of the year, I was the 15th top selling gospel artist of the decade.
Wow.
I had no idea. Another colleague had to send it to me and tell me. But when I look back over it, all I could say is thank you.
Yeah.
Has kept. Yeah. And thank you to everybody that supported along the years too.
It was such a beautiful song when it came out, and then we met you, and you were so quiet and unassuming and humble, and we were like, oh my God. This guy's awesome, And really and truly, I have to say, over the 15 years, you haven't changed much.
No, I put a little weight on.
Well, I ain't talking about that part. We all done did that, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
But
I just stay grateful, I'm just thankful.
Character-wise, you haven't changed much.
But that's kind of you to say, thank you.
Yeah. You talk a little bit more, because I remember when I first met you, you were very quiet. Quiet. You probably like scoping out, oh Lord, what have I got myself into in this music industry?
Absolutely. I'll just be frank about that. Yes, I was looking around, and then you get to a point where you feel like, okay, now it's time for you to really open up and contribute. And so that's what I feel like more than anything. That's my prayer. Really, day one is that I contribute in a way that adds value, and adds value in a way that honors the people that have come before me and the music that have come before me. Like I feel like I'm here on people's shoulders, And so I just wanted to be a part of that, continuing that legacy because of the way the music kept me.
And that has to be quite a burden. I hear a lot of artists say that, and it has to be quite a burden. So talk about your process of writing, how you choose your songs, because those songs mean so much to the heart of the people. So talk about that for a moment, because that is a burden.
The biggest burden though is just doing it in a way where you can continue to do it. And so I try to be, as an artist, first of all, true to my heart and what's in my heart. And then as a business person, okay, what's true to my heart that's going to add value? Because if you add value, then people are willing to invest in it. And that's how you continue to be able to do it. So that's the biggest burden. It's like marrying, okay, what's in my heart to what's going to really benefit the community, and finding that out. You get that through prayer and experimentation and feedback, and so that's what the process has been about to me. And then learning over the years, where you may have made some mistakes and where some stuff really, really worked.
Yeah.
And then, how to keep moving forward in ways that evolve what you're doing.
When Worth Fighting For came out.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, the best song. I think that was an anthem for so many people. That was such a beautiful song.
Yes, man. We've been fortunate in that regard. Fortunate, one, because I love to sing it, and making songs like that people really like and that you like to sing. That's been a blessing. And I've gotten that type of feedback consistently. So again, that's what I pray for.
So now, we noticed that you do ballads mostly.
Yeah, people have said that. At least that's what we put out on singles, when we go to radio. And I'm pretty good at it, Twanda. And I'm not, I guess what I'm saying is I know that I distinguish myself in that area. But we trying to do fast songs too. You got to do that too, just so you can get your concert done.
Yeah.
So again, that's part of the evolution.
The new project that now, did you work on that before COVID, the year before COVID, or were you working on this new project last year?
Mostly during COVID.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, in this very room where I'm sitting now, where we were, quarantined, I kind of retrofit the room so I could start recording. I had never done recording here at my house. So we finished a lot of that record here during that period. And I would say a lot of what we were going through informed that record topic, and so it was one of the hardest records I had to do because of the logistics, but it also was rewarding because of what we got out of it.
Yeah. Were you surprised when it was over? You were like, oh my God, I did this in my house.
To a certain extent, yeah. I was, it was like, there's a song on the record called Waiting that speaks to that. Like how sometimes you already sitting on what you need. You just got to go ahead and start working with it. And so there were times finishing that song in this room where I would kind of well up with tears because the Lord was revealing that to me. And that's not the only place. There are places in all of our lives and different areas where, man, you might be a little stagnant because you waiting on something to happen outside of your circumstance, where it's right there with you. You already got it, like 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread. You thought it was just lunch, but it really was a miracle for the whole community that day.
That's right. That's an amazing analogy. You actually paired up with my girl Miranda.
Yeah, that's smashed. I love Miranda. She's a pro's pro. Every time I've gotten to see her live before we worked together, I just always enjoyed it. And Donald Lawrence actually shouted her out on Instagram one day, and then said, "Man, you all should get together and sing 'Ain't No Need to Worry.'"
Oh my goodness!
And it just so sparked for me because that's where I was topically with the record. And I love Miranda, and just by faith, I reached out to her and Justin Savage, and they agreed to work with me on it, and I'm grateful.
That's beautiful. She's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's a powerful woman right there.
I love
yes. Now, still, of course, is the single we're all working right now, and just beautiful encouragement about just sitting still sometimes and working through stuff and waiting on God, and that's so hard for us to do.
It can be. But I think it's required in many instances, especially when you feel anxious. You got to learn to do that the most. You got to learn to kind of quiet your spirit and focus on your assignment. Focus on what you got right in front of you. Because what you have right in front of you a lot of times is the answer to somebody else's prayer.
Sure.
And that answer could help calm the storm, so to speak. But if you get anxious and you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing, it kind of breaks down. So that's what this song speaks to. How do you move a mountain?
Yeah.
Move a mountain, you know, one pebble at a time.
Definitely. You and sure as and we're talking about tempos, that was a little bit different for you.
You like that?
Yeah.
It got a little Stevie Wonder feel. Shout out to Spencer Smith, Dana Saray, who worked on that song, sent it to me. I dig the song a lot. I think it again just speaks to what fortifies us, and that's the fact that regardless of what's sifting around us, what's changing, how the storm winds blow, God is a constant. And we can be still and know that God is going to be God in the situation.
That's right.
We just gotta wait it out and see what's happening.
Through all of 2020, fear is not welcome. I love that song. I love the message in that song, you know?
I heard it first day and I knew that was going to be a song that was going to sing itself, whether we promoted it or not. We've already, can I say this? I had BYU reach out to me.
Wow.
Say they wanted to do a remake of the song. They have a group called Vocal Point. They do like Take 6 type a cappella versions. It's beautiful. So you heard it? Yes, I got a chance to go to Well, they wanted me to sing with them. So they brought me to Utah. I've never been to Utah before.
I saw it on Instagram or somewhere. I saw you with them, and I was like, "That's amazing!" It was beautiful.
It was. I'd never been there. You know, these are college guys. Half of them are married. You know, because of that's the way they come up. And man, we hung out, sang the song, and it is beautiful. I can't wait for people to hear it.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome! 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 So. The big thing on here that everybody's talking about is the Marvin Gaye cover.
Oh, really?
Why did you want to do that song?
You know, it started out as being like a Motown tribute. You know, I'm on Motown Gospel, and they wanted the gospel artist to cover some songs, and then that was just a song I've always dug. I thought it spoke to where we are in the times.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, to be honest, because that song was written 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to change a lyric. It's still relevant today. Those blues still exist. But I wanted to put it on this record because I believe we still have a reason to believe that those blues won't last. There's too much good news for us to spread through this gospel for those blues to last. But that doesn't mean we should deny them. They are still there. There's still issues that need to be confronted any way we can. And so that's why I wanted to put it on the record.
Yeah, Inner City Blues makes me want to holler.
People like it?
Such a great song.
Okay, yeah. Such
a great song.
It was a great song. What I mean is, did they like me singing it though, Twanda? Was it more like, did you mess it up, B?
I don't think you messed up.
All right.
I think, you know, it shows where your heart is in things that really matter, you know, and in this and where we are today in this environment that we are in today, justice matters.
Absolutely.
And so I just think it's an expression of where, again, like you said, where we are, but also where your heart is. You know, you're like, yeah, it's an R&B song, but I'm gonna put this on here because it matters. You know,
I'm gonna be frank with you. We're gonna go deeper too. I'm gonna do more. I'm trying to find ways to be true to my heart and consistent with my ministry, you know, without boxing in my art too.
Right.
Right. So that's I'm gonna keep taking chances like that.
So I
appreciate you saying something about that.
Oh yeah. I think that a lot of artists are moving in that direction, that they're not afraid anymore, that they have to be, like you said, boxed in, and being able to say, hey, you know, I can do a little R&B. It's classy. It's, you know, and it has a message. Your song has a message. You know, you're not talking about anything outside the norm of what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of artists doing that today. I think it's a great thing. It's Beautiful. A great thing. Yeah.
Who else is doing that? I'm curious. I didn't know that. real.
You look on those album cuts, you'll see some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm enjoying, just seeing the artists, and especially in their concert experiences, they'll break out with something else,
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
love it. Yeah, it's a good thing. Talk about for a moment what you learned about yourself last year in 2020. COVID just hitting. We're isolated in our homes. You're making a studio in your house to finish your project. So what was that thing that you really learned about you, about Brian?
That's a great question. I would start with, I got so much to be grateful for. Just looking around, even with the quote unquote confines that we were dealing with, our situation was really good compared to some other people.
Yeah.
So that's one thing for sure. And I'm hesitant to say I learned it. I already knew it, but it's good to get those reminders.
Yeah.
Anchors to the fact that you got a lot to be grateful
Yeah.
for. And then, just that we could do more. Like we started this thing called Breathe Again on Thursdays. And I kind of just started, one of my mentors said, hey man, I want you to do a radio show for me. And I had the time, so I pulled it together. And then we started doing these interviews on Thursday, like hour-long interview slots. And we've been doing them now for a year,
Wow.
Just people coming in. I've had Bun B come on and talk to me, and Warren Campbell came on, just different people. April Ryan came in and spoke to me. And it was all about how they're dealing with this transition we find ourselves in, and taking that next breath with expectancy.
Yeah.
For the future that you want to see. And so go ahead. I'm sorry.
How do you think how you do ministry, how you do business is going to change when we can go back out, when we're free to move around the cabin, as you so speak? How do you think what you do and how you do is going to change?
That's another great question, Twanda. Like as if you do this all the time. How is it going to change? One thing I think churches are learning is how much can be done virtually.
Oh yeah, right? For sure.
So there's some things that I think churches thought they needed to do or had to do to give their church families an experience that they can kind of pare down, so to speak, and do it virtually. So I think that's going to change it. And it's going to require artists like myself to be able to deliver virtually and make sure we're prepared to do so. And I just think, generally speaking, it has raised the bar for us technologically. Like we got to really be up on our game in that regard.
For sure.
Just down to doing this interview and figuring out how we're gonna get the StreamYard thing done. So I think that's one thing for sure that's gonna change, whether we can travel or not.
Right.
We got to step that up.
Is that you may have that option of, hey man, you ain't really got to come. Can we give you a lesser amount and you do it virtually and send us the video? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I mean, and lesser amount, like you're not paying for the travel, you're not paying for the lodging and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. I think that having the options are going to be phenomenal. I'm hoping that, of course, we'll still be able to go into our arenas and have nice concerts and be able to come together in that way, but it may not happen for a minute,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not to discount the value of our gathering, because there's nothing like that, especially in the gospel space.
Right.
Where we're all in one room and there's this resonant revelation that God is present, God's power is sufficient, and then we sing about it. There's nothing that compares to that. But again, you got to work with what you got. And so in the confines that we've been dealing with of late, we figured out a way. And that's, oh man, I love it. I love that churches figured out a way.
Yeah.
And some churches were probably resistant. And now it's like, okay, we got to figure it out. and now we are figuring it out, and I love it. You know what I mean? So
But
it's a
my
beautiful
pastor
thing.
says he's concerned because the people have gotten so comfortable they may not want to come back to church.
I tell you, I got one preacher. He told me this, man. He said the offerings, the offerings are coming from people that are, they don't
All over.
necessarily want to come back.
That's right.
It's the
That's
people
right.
that want to come back that need it the most. Man, it's complicated. You know what I mean? Because that
Yeah.
gathering is for the people that need it the most, but they
Yeah,
don't always
yeah.
fund it.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be another issue or a revelation of how do we bring people back into the church house, So we'll
And
see when it comes.
Why do we bring them back?
Yeah. And why do they need to come back?
What was it? What was it about anyway?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And I think probably end of the year going into next year when everything may be back to normal. So I don't think we're ever going to be back to normal.
No,
But I don't think we're ever going back. Never. Tell me about your family. How was it being with your family for an entire year almost, and being at the house?
It was great. I'm an empty nester now, but it was kind of delayed. So both my kids were supposed to go back to school. My son was starting his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I got bonus time with him in particular because he was at home with me. My daughter was here. So it was great for me. I don't know if it was great for them because they were ready, to have to
Yes.
But I also think that once they left, because my son, he's now back. My daughter's finishing up her junior year at Cornell, and my son is at USC. It made them more grateful for the opportunity, that they had a place to be, they had a place to come home to.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it was very, very cool. And now, it's just my wife and I just figuring out, okay, so what do we do with all this free space and time, to keep moving forward. So that's where we're at.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to circle back around to Still. That is the project that is now hitting the airwaves. You've got to hear all of these other wonderful songs. And I'm sure after Still, what's going to be the next release?
I don't know.
You don't know yet?
I know. Again, we've been doing work on Fears Not Welcome. I mentioned BYU. I believe I can mention this. We did a collaboration. I don't know that I can mention this shit. I'm not going to mention it.
Don't mention it.
We got some special stuff coming up in the summertime around the record and adding some deluxe singles to it. I just actually worked with Legacy the other day. So I can't wait for people to hear what we did.
That's bad girl right there. Woo.
Man, and she was just a ball of joy, man, and affirmation. And so I'm so excited that we were able to connect and the fruit of what we were able to do.
Oh, that's going to be special. We can't wait. We're excited about the summer. Do you have anything coming up that we can see virtually that's coming up in the meantime?
Let me see, because I'm traveling this week. We'll be in Dallas this week. There's a you know what? The best answer to that is to go to my Instagram page. I'll let you know there.
There you go.
Brian Courtney Wilson is the Instagram page. And actually start following me on Facebook too, because like I said, we do these Thursday night Breathe Agains. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and until the Lord says different, we'll be there with a song, because I open with a song, and a sit down with a very special guest. And so we love for you to join us there as well. Love it.
They can find your music where?
Everywhere music is streamed and downloaded. And if you get confused, go to my website, BrianCourtneyWilson.com. We'll get you straightened out.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. God bless you. We look so forward to all that is going to come up for you coming up this year. God bless you.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to have a good time.
Yes. Thanks for joining me here at Good News with Twanda Black. I pray that you've enjoyed our special guest for today. Look, follow me on Facebook at Twanda Black ATL, or on Instagram at The Real Twanda B. God bless you and keep on coming back. All right.